Welcome back, everyone, to Disco Elysium. We're here with Randall Lefebvre, otherwise known as DraxxKraven, and we're going to pick up this freet bag. Oh, you hear the distant squalls of seabirds. Yoink! Now I can collect bottles to make money. Listen, I don't start trouble, I fix it. Wow, yep. Real fixer there. A splatter of bullet holes line the walls. Esprit de corps, the sight of bullet holes stirs something in you, making you forget the lieutenant's surname. Look closer first. The fading marks are too degraded to draw any forensic conclusions, just chips in the sandstone. Whew, they look pretty ancient. Kim, look, bullet holes. Where? Someone's been shot. We're cops, you should solve this. There? Those are old. What do you mean old? These bullets were fired during the revolution, over half a century ago. They do not warrant investigation. What can you tell me about the revolution? Not much. I don't have a fresh perspective on it. Perhaps we should go. Understood. How many skill points do I have available? Just 2. But I'm only 15 XP away from a level up. Mazovian economics is pretty cool. It has to do with XP, but in my experience, taking it is not as useful as the 2 stat debuffs you get from having it. Stare at the wall. Why is this wall on the side of the apartment building? Why am I looking at this wall? In the dimming light, some things only become clearer. You have no clue, it's just a wall. So many walls all over Martinez, weather-worn, cracked, their paint peeling. Thanks, Shivers, I guess. Thank you. Praise magnesium. Yoink. Ooh, a blue naval coat. What does this do? +1 suggestion, -1 half-light. It's not very intimidating. Aye, Captain. Officerial poise. This classic double-breasted coat suits everyone, including you. And if you ever find yourself battling winds at the helm of a ship, then the coat's heavy fabric has got your back, even if moths have left a few holes in it. Thanks. Excuse me, ma'am.
The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue d'Esperance. You wait and see.
The girl stares at the sailboat by the pier.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth? Blood type? The last time I was tested for Hep C?
Hep? Yeah, when were you last tested? Let's start with your blood type and go from there.
Where? Accosting a minor?
Listen to your partner, pigman. Keep your grubby hooves off little old ladies.
Despite the attitude, she puts the brush aside. A brush? An artist? The red splatter is urban expressionism. You keep looking off to the side. What are you looking at? She nods disdainfully toward the woman performing maintenance on the boat docked next to the pier. Hatred? Disgust? It's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring. That Ozone whore. Someone's got to keep an eye on her. Ozone is an archipelago 2 days travel away from Revachol. Its moneyed residents used to posh restaurants and upscale boutiques rarely have reason to visit Martinez. Who is she? Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she'll be very cooperative while telling us absolutely nothing. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions. You know, do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Throwing off is really our best bet. Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to Ozon. What are you doing to the wall? Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural. An aero graffito visible from low orbit. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words. So you don't know what to write? Have you ever tried your hand at graffito? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative stuff like pigs go home and Mona was here. We rarely see pigs around here, though. Just Union Cads, and my name's not Mona, so... Well, I've got an opinion on this. Do you want to hear it? Yeah, I love public art. Don't mind us. Do what you're doing. Make it something fantastic. Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that I have an official RCM stamp of approval. She means the opposite. Catch you later, Cindy. Watch your back, undulate. You've got eyes on you. A motorcycle. Capeside Apartments. Rue de Saint Just Lane to Roundabout North. Got it. Ooh. What's in these? We got more magnesium. Yoink. The belly of this boat shines like it was recently painted. Noted. Docking reserved for residents of Rue de Saint Just Lane 33A. Your room in the Whirling in Rags isn't much bigger than this sloop. This is worth more than you'll ever earn in your entire life. Ma'am. Joyce Messier. A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat. Damn, the music got awfully serious all of a sudden.
Good evening, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbor. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
Joyce L? What does the L stand
Lady,
for?
my maiden name.
What gave us away?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Relax. She's joking. Shake her hand.
I'm glad to see you here.
Her grip is tight and cold.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual, but I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. This is the tactic.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
You're on a boat. Why, yes, I am. She looks at the deck under her feet. Green and white sails flutter overhead. Not a lot of people on boats, are they? Are there? Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? Wait, we're on an archipelago? Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou. Huh. Still, I haven't seen anyone else sail a boat around here. I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Canema motor carriage either. Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the Greater Revachol Industrial Harbor. It is not a toy. Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol between the city and islands. You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich. Why? Why what? Stop thinking. Take her down. Actually, yes, I need to nail her for this. Before you do, it might be pertinent to ask a few more questions. Learn whatever you can about this boat of hers. Does she have a name? The boat? No, it's called Corps d'Elite 19 because this is the type of sloop it is. Okay, what kind of boat is it? It's a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing, though these days I mainly use it for business. How do you like it? My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby. I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating. Do you have a license for this boat? Officer, I assure you, I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator. The crowns of her teeth are porcelain. White is the boat's hull as she smiles. Qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming. Where is your license? Well, can I see your license? I just renewed its safety inspection last month, officers. It's completely seaworthy. In fact, it's taken part in not one but two Insulindic regattas, even finished ones. What happened the other time? The other time I would have finished the race were it not for an urgent work matter, much like the one I'm on now. Still need to see that license, ma'am. Actually, you don't. What do you mean? The Wayfarer Act specifically denies the RCM the authority to demand anyone's operator license. It's a little-known fact among us law officials. Wait, exactly how little known is this fact? I was just being polite. Even schoolchildren know about the Wayfarer Act. Ah! Okay, forget the stupid Wayfarer Act. I had another question. Let's talk about the economics of the boat you're on. Oh my, the E word. You mean to say that it's a symbol of conspicuous consumption? That I'm a member of the ruling class? No, it's a symbol of subjugation of foreign capital, the bad kind of capital. No. Precisamundo, class wartime, baby! Detective, may I remind you that Mrs. Messier is a professional negotiator? He doesn't look like he thinks you'll best her in single combat. Then what does that say? Does it say docking reserved for residents of Rue de Gislaine 33A? 33A, the old proletariat haunt. As I said, plenty of people drive boats, all of social strata. It's the eel's heels. It's gonna happen. Something's about to happen in here. Of course. Nothing happens. Not for a while. Wave your hand next to your head. It'll help. It doesn't. Nothing's coming. Damn it. Well, I think I got a handle on the boat situation. Unfortunately, I never play a character with good comebacks, so I've never been able to make a comeback about the boat. Tell me about Wild Pines. What do you do? What we do, I'm afraid, is I do not speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking. There is a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent. So what do they do? The Pines' core competency is logistics, container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping size of things. Then to the east toward the harbor, that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil or gas exploration, offshore platforms. The Wild Pines group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain, himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain. Who are the other Indo-tribes? Saint Baptiste, Elysium, an unknown entity known as Brightest Star. You're in good company, it seems. Why, thank you. How much money does Wild Pines have? I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that the last year the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue. A billion? What exactly is a billion? It's a number, officer, a very big one. What is it made of? It's made of 1,000 millions. A million is made of 1,000 thousands. That's it? I thought Wild Pines was supposed to be big time. And to think, there are years when the group books losses in the billions. A wave hits the sloop. She grasps the mainstay for balance. Wild Pines employs 72,000 people, all of whom have families that depend on their salaries. It's a tremendous responsibility. Where does Wild Pines get all these billions? They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insuliadan Isolas 250 years ago, when Pine ships explored the South Semines and chartered Lo, Manthang, on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the Great Unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from the employees to build it. Probably helps to start out with a royal monopoly. You know more than you let on. Certainly it helped, but most of the original Indo-tribes have failed to have been absorbed. To survive, Wild Pines had to grow and adapt. No suzerain did that. What does such a huge system want with a place like this? You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? You don't keep it moving. The workers do. The company is nothing without them. We built this district. There she is. All the best parts of it. Rue de Saint-Gislain with its bastions, and the Plaza Meteor and Mosaic. Even some of the old street lamps have been put back to the investments from the WP. She points behind you where the seawall rises. Before Martinez was swallowed by the industrial harbour, even before it was part of Revachol, long before Terminal B was erected here, the Pines built it as a resort for its Revacholian employees. A company getaway for a weekend or a summer holiday, then came the revolution, but that's another matter. I'm here to make sure the Pines can fulfill their responsibilities to the place they built. What can you tell me about the strike? Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. Wait, what if I want to hear about these trade secrets? First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade and elements that gives me the rights to silence. It's quite the octopus. An octopus? I will slay it! Good luck. It's only kept in place by the vested interests of half the civilized world, including your own. What the MAM means is that the Emergencies Act and the RCM both get their authority from the coalition government. But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike? What's your role in it precisely? I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return the Wild Pines the counteroffer. And how are talks going? They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbor. There's a 2.2-meter raceless behemoth blocking the gates. You mean Jean-Luc, my race mentor? He's a great teacher, a man of virtue. Oh, so you've met him. Has he beguiled you with his inane theories? My colleague has his peculiarities. Let's not get into this particular one just yet. Of course, to each their own. How were the talks going before the lynching? Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped to when I first arrived. When did you first arrive? I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM. He looks at his notes, but the strike began in December. I wasn't the original negotiator. I took over after Mr. Galmont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Galmont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations. This isn't like the strike. This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike. Heavens, no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive. Ludicrous, even, it's meant. What happened to Galmont? Mr. Clare told him to, how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Oh, not cool. Galmont is short of stature, you see. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him in the union. What are their demands? There are leaflets everywhere and banners. What did they say? Oh, yes. Every worker a member of the board. I like it. Then you might also like their other slogan, Demand Democracy. That's a good one. Personally, I don't think of it as the same pizazzo as every worker a member of the board. What exactly do they mean by it, though? What's the demand? It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision, about what? About anything, really, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of the Wild Pines group. The king is dead. Long live the workers. Isn't that what the revolution was about, ma'am? That may be well, but it's not up to me to decide who is king. But as negotiations go, it's not a swell start. What are you going to do? I'm not sure. Naturally, I assumed that was just their opening position. Hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up. Just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if ever there was one. Excuse me. From whom did you hear about this lynching? Her reply comes quick. I first heard it from the boyar at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think his name was Call Me Mignana. This checks out. The scabs at the gate. Did you put them there? The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock come to plead for work when the union refuses to? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least. It's implied she's opening to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion. What do you think of Everard? Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity, if you can say one thing about him.
The hair on my tongue. Oh, God, this is awful. I got it.
Oh, God, Jesus. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interest of the workers first. Really? Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he is a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood. That's Everard, all right. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there's anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar. I remember hearing something about him. Have you seen him? No. Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one term is up as foreman, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of the workers' dues. What about the union itself, outside the Brothers Clare? The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution 20 years ago. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it, and I can respect that. She adjusts her hair. Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The Brothers Clare came and transformed it into a, how do you say, a mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, we're forced to cooperate with them. Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, Detective, if I may ask, would you say that the Deborah Union is an effective advocate for the rights of local working men? Why do you think so? What she calls corruption is simply an aesthetic category. Damn. Talking in aesthetic categories is the privilege of the overclass. From what I've seen, most people are just trying to survive. Point taken. She falls silent. The crow's feet in the corner of her eyes deepen. But enough about Everett. What else can I tell you? One more thing. You said something happened in the elections? I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous foreman of the union. She disappeared. Disappeared? Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore. Or coming to work. Ever. End of stories. Eerie. Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. And we'll learn more about this union matter next time on Disco Elysium. Good night, everyone.